Hi vinyl community, it's Mike Vinyl Spiral here, and today I'm going to talk about my pickups from January 2023. So let's get going. So first off, some stuff I picked up at record fairs and second-hand stores. First one, this is from Little Feat, their 1974 album, Feet Don't Fail Me Now, and there it is. And I picked that up with another Little Feat album, which is Sailing Shoes from 1972. Now, they were a band from LA, formed by Lowell George, who was a member of Frank Zappa's Mothers of Invention. And they're a band that really have passed me by. Yeah, I listened to both of these albums quite a few times, and I really love it. And you know, I just wonder why I didn't think of buying this stuff before. So it'll be interesting to know whether people think these are their best albums, or whether there's anything better, because I'll certainly be getting some more. So there you go. So that's the first two pickups by Little Feat. Next, also from a record fair. This is Joe Walsh's 1978 album, But Seriously Folks. Now, I wasn't really into Joe Walsh at the time. I was into completely different stuff, as I'll come to at the end of this video, where I'll be showing you an album that's absolutely brilliant that I picked up last Friday. So, as I say, this is probably his most famous album. I must say, I do like the cover, and it's got his most famous track on it, "Life's Been Good." I saw a YouTube video of him performing the track probably a couple of years ago, and he introduced it by saying, "If I'd known I'd have to play this song for the next 40 years, I would have written something else." So, yeah, "Life's Been Good." I think it's a good song. Otherwise, I mean, I enjoyed the album. I think Secondhand Store is a really good track on this. But there you go. That's Joe Walsh. But seriously, folks. Right. Now I get into stuff that would float my boat a little better. And this is Young Marble Giants, and it's their only album, Colossal Youth, and I picked this up from a record fair for next to nothing. It's a reissue, and includes a second album that has their two EPs on it. That's a Test Card EP and Final Day. Now, these guys are from Cardiff. They consisted of two brothers, Philip and Stuart Moxham, and the singer was Alison Staton. Released in 1980, as I say, it's their only album, and they had a couple of EPs that on here as well, and they did get some pretty decent chart success with this, but that's it. They did the one album and they disappeared, and it's a pity, really. They're very it's synth based, very sort of very minimalist sort of indie. It's very nice. I love this album. Right. So that's some of my pickups from record fairs and charity shops, and now sort of onto the new stuff that I bought. So first off, this is the second album. It's called Cacti by Billy No Mates. Now she's really good. Again, I love her vocal style. Again, she's quite minimalist. She's confrontational, disaffected, post-punk. And this is a really good album. It's a lot warmer than a debut, and it's more tuneful and not quite as raw. But it's still a very good album. I mean, the best track on this for me is Fauna, which is, I think, on side 2. And she's featured also with Sleaford Mods. She was on their single Mulka Mindy about a year or two ago. But I mean, she's very good. But I mean, if I was to recommend an album, I would say go for a debut rather than this one. Unless, of course, you like stuff to be a little bit more tuneful. But it's a good album nevertheless. Next up, it's this one. It's that's it. Difficult to say which way it goes. This is it. This is by a band called Human Hand. It's called Tremor, and it was recorded in just 2 days post-lockdown, and they describe it as cathartic noise from Clitheroe in Lancashire, which is in the north of England, and that's exactly what you get from this. It's an entirely instrumental album. There's lots of noise and some really great heavy psych. It's an absolutely wonderful album, and I hope they do a lot more. The tracks that I like the best probably Teeth and Trough. Really good. I wouldn't recommend them more highly. Really, they're really good. So if you like noise, if you like heavy psych, then I think they're a band for you. So that's Human Hand. Right then, so I come to the last one I'm going to show today, and this is a compilation album, and it's absolutely brilliant, and it really brings back memories for me. Here it is. It's called Winter of Discontent, and it's the latest compilation album put together by Bob Stanley and Pete Wiggs, who are from the band Saint Etienne. It's really well presented. It's got some lovely notes about all the bands on the inside, and as I say, it's really well researched. And basically, this is about the British DIY scene. All the tracks are recorded between 1978 and 1980. And just for a bit of background, the Winter of Discontent refers to the period, the winter of 1978 and 1979, when in the UK everyone seemed to be on strike, inflation was running really high, and the government refused to pay workers what they deserved. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? But on the upside, we had the DIY scene. So a lot of the tracks on this album are self-released singles, and some of them have just been lost in the mist of time, and they've been revived on this album. Others went on to achieve various amounts of commercial success. So those that you probably heard of include the Mekons, who are from here in Leeds, Scritti Politti, the Raincoats. The track on this is Fairy Tale in the Supermarket, which I think is a really fantastic track. The Fool and the Fatal Microbes. Others that sort of really kind of passed me by completely, I've either never heard of them or I've forgotten all about them. And they are the Thin Yogurts, Frankie's Men, the Performing Ferret Band, and the Human Cabbages. There's others on here as well, but it's a really well put together sort of piece of sort of true indie punk and post-punk. There's not a major label in sight here. So people would, as I say, they would spend a few quid, record their own single, and then, they'd send them off to the likes of John Peel on Radio 1, and if they were lucky, he would give them some airtime. And as I say, some of them went on to achieve great success, but all of them gave us great entertainment in those dark days at the end of the 70s. And quite interestingly, there's a little little quote at the back, and they say, "It was easy, it was cheap, go and do it." And I thought, I know that. I know where that comes from. And it's from here. This is now a single by the Desperate Bicycles. It's their second single called The Medium is Tedium. It was released in 1977 and it's self-released on their own label. And there's some blurb on the back that I think sort of sums up sort of what the indie scene was all about. It says the Desperate Bicycles were formed in March 1977 specifically for the purpose of recording and releasing a single on their own label. They booked a studio in Dalston for 3 hours, and with a lot of courage and a little rehearsal, they recorded Smokescreen and Handlebars. It subsequently leapt at the throat. 3 months later, the Desperate Bicycles were back in the studio to record their second single, and this is the result. No more time for spectating, they sing. And who knows, they may be right. They'd really like to know why you haven't made a single yet. It was easy, it was cheap, go and do it. The complete cost of Smokescreen was £153, and it says, so if you can understand, go and join a band, now it's your turn. And I think that sums up the whole sort of indie scene. And I hadn't played this single for absolutely donkey's years, and it just reminded me, I better get it out. So I've been playing this single, I've been playing the album. Here it is. As I say, it's a self-release single, 2 tracks, The Medium was Tedium and Don't Back the Front. And both tracks appear on side A. And on side B, it's a white label, but both tracks are also recorded on side B. The record label is called Refill Records, and they describe it as being slightly stereo. So there you go. That's some of my best pickups from January, and I hope to see you all soon. So farewell for now, vinyl community.